It's almost that time of year. The chill is in the air, the nights are getting longer, and there's a special kind of wily spookiness that befalls us all. Yep, October is coming, and that also means that my annual Best of the Best in Horror countdown will once again rear its ugly head all month long. I thought that to prep you all for this countdown, I'd go back and talk a bit about a few number ones from previous years. So let's get spooky. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we get started, I wanted to talk a bit about my own way of choosing the best of the best when it comes to horror being released in modern times. I'm always looking for something I haven't seen before. No matter what the budget or release scope of the film, it's the quality and uniqueness of the ideas that really gets me going. So if I'm seeing some kind of horror that I haven't seen before, it might be tweaked a bit or just fall into a whole new dimension of terror I could never have imagined, I'm liking it a lot. I also like to see modern takes on old tropes. Sure, anybody can make a zombie movie, but if you make it unpredictable, from a different point of view, or even with odd little beats peppered in, even the most trampled on trope can feel fresh and new. There are also things like solid performances, interesting effects, a gift for tension and suspense, or solid scares, be they jump scares, slow builds, or otherwise. All of these are factors in what makes a good horror movie great. My process basically is this. Once October 1st comes around, I begin a new list of films I like for one reason or another. As I see more, I adjust that list up and down throughout the year. Soon I have 31, and more often than not, I have more than that. To accommodate to this gigantic list compiled, I started a second list that is worth noting. They might not be the best 31, but that gives me a little wiggle room to toss in more horror movies that I like for some odd reason, or maybe even give me a chance to talk about films that aren't exactly horror, but have horror elements. Basically, it's my way to double down on the fun and chat about not just 31, but 62 films throughout the month. So every one of my countdown picks has a worth noting film added on for your personal enjoyment. While most countdowns occur in January, looking back on the previous years, my list looks back on October 1st of the previous year and cuts it off in September 30th, making the countdown more of a Halloween celebration. So let's chat about the special year of 2016 and 2017. When we were all so innocent and ignorant to the trying times to come, I chose Raw to be the best horror film of the year. If you haven't seen this French film from director Julia Ducournau, who returns next month with Titane, which looks to be equally batshit, then you're in for a treat. In a year that saw the release of Get Out, It Chapter 1, The Void, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, and The Devil's Candy, Raw took the cake in terms of transgressive and innovative horror. It tells you the story of Justine, played by Garance Marillier, a vegetarian who is beginning her education as a veterinarian in a college, following in the footsteps of her sister. During an initiation that isn't unlike the climactic scene from Carrie, Justine is doused in pig's blood. When she ingests some of it, the blood awakens a hunger in Justine that she never knew she had. Mixing a sexual awakening with some of the most twisted body horror you're ever going to see, Raw will make you squirm, wince, and feel horrible for all involved. Plus, Raw is filled with all sorts of twists and turns, making it a dangerous and unpredictable little film you won't forget right down to the very last moment. For 2017-2018, like many of you, I was blown away by Mandy. Sure, A Quiet Place was great, and Revenge redefined the rape-revenge movie in modern times. Hereditary and Annihilation were groovy as well, and Happy Death Day was a surprise hit. But nothing topped the absolutely straitjacket exploding performance of Nick Cage as Red Miller in Mandy. As a man who will stop at nothing to get revenge on the freaky cult hippies who murdered his wife, played by the haunting Andrea Riseborough, Cage's Red puts himself through hell and then dives headfirst into it. Director Panos Cosmatos makes every scene a swirling tapestry of crazy ideas, horrific imagery, and delicious, opulent colors. Linus Roach takes villainy to a new dank and dark level. Watching this one on the big screen is an experience you won't forget. Mandy is a journey straight down, and you won't be the same after watching it. 2018 and 2019 was an interesting year. There weren't a lot of horror films released in theaters, though there were some big ones like Halloween 2018, Us, Midsummer, and Ready or Not to enjoy. That made room for smaller films like Luz, One Cut of the Dead, Possum, and The Clove Hitch Killer to stand out when they might have been trampled down in other years. One such film that had a limited theatrical release was Suspiria 2018, a film that ran with the concept developed in Dario Argento's original and took it to spectacularly strange and transfixing places. This is another film that envelops you, but instead of using the bold colors and elaborate set pieces of the original, it forces you to experience the pain, the hardship, and the terror of this intricate and excruciating dance that, once performed to perfection, opens doors to the realm of nightmares. Director Luca Guadagnino was a bold choice to remake Suspiria, but he ended up making a flip side to Argento's original. It uses the core elements, but goes in its own direction. It somehow reaches all the same beats, only in a different way. Yes, the film is long. Yes, it's vastly different from the original, but it's a movie that you won't forget, especially that gory and insane climax. Finally, we have last year, 2019 and 2020. What a year. While horror was just outside our windows and reported on daily, there still managed to be solid scares to try to distract us from it all. There were some big budgeters like The Invisible Man, The Hunt, and Dr. Sleep, but to balance it out, there were smaller tales of terror such as Relic, In Fabric, and The Vast of Night. Last year, the one horror film that had it all, though, was Color Out of Space. Richard Stanley delivered the most purely Lovecraftian Lovecraft film with all kinds of homages to The Thing and The Fly. Plus, it starred Nick Cage again, who is establishing himself as one of the most high-profile actors willing to get down and dirty in the blood and guts and gonzo horror. Color Out of Space felt like a roller coaster you take your family on, but instantly regret because you find out halfway through that the track is broken after the second hill. There's no way out for the family who is unlucky enough to have the impact crater of a meteor in their backyard. The side effects of this rock from space transforms them into monsters. But it's the humanity Cage and Stanley are able to communicate in this horrific struggle that really gets under your skin and festers. This is another one that's hard to forget. So there's a taste of the number one picks from previous years. Friday is when the best of the best in horror countdown begins. I do hope you'll join me for the ride. And be sure not to miss a single day by liking, subscribing, and ringing that bell for notifications. I greatly appreciate the support. Happy Halloween, folks. I can't wait to start this year's countdown. See you there.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be. Stuck inside your reality. You're